The massive alien vessel crashed into the Nevada desert on a Tuesday morning in 2157. Dr. Emma Hayes, leading the first research team to reach the crash site, stepped through the twisted hull breach and into humanity's future. The ship stretched, nearly 2 kilometers long, its dark metal surface scarred by what appeared to be weapons fire. Inside the wreckage, the team found bodies tall, gray-skinned aliens with multiple arms and large black eyes. Their technology was centuries beyond anything humans had achieved. Captain Rex Morris, the military liaison, examined the alien weapons scattered throughout the corridors. Each one could level a city block. They were running from something, Emma observed, studying the blast patterns on the interior walls. This wasn't an accident. The ship's central computer core remained partially intact. Tech specialist Jake Turner worked for weeks to access its memory banks. What he found changed everything. The aliens called themselves the Veltar, and they were refugees. Their entire civilization had been destroyed by an empire known as the Korthika race of conquerors who consumed entire worlds. Through fragmented data logs, the team learned that Earth had been marked. The Korthik were coming. The Veltar ship had tried to warn humanity, but arrived too late, their vessel crippled by pursuing Korthik forces. They died believing their mission had failed. Admiral Kate Stone arrived at the site within days of the discovery. She stood in the ship's command center, watching holographic star maps flicker to life. "How long do we have?" she asked. Emma consulted the alien timeline. "Based on their records, maybe 5 years before the Korthik fleet reaches our system." Decision was immediate and unanimous. Humanity would not wait to die. They would take this broken alien ship and transform it into something the Korthik had never faced before. The project received unlimited funding and resources. The world's best engineers, scientists, and military strategists converged on the Nevada site. Jake discovered that the Veltar had used biological neural networks to control their ship's living computers that could adapt and learn. Most of Earth's technology was still crude by comparison, but humans had something the Veltar lacked: creativity born from centuries of warfare and survival. Colonel Dave Park, a veteran of the Mars colonies, proposed the radical integration plan. "We don't just repair their ship," he said during the first strategy meeting. "We gut it. We keep their advanced systems, but rebuild everything else with human innovation." The work began immediately. Human engineers studied every system, every weapon, every piece of alien technology. They learned to speak the ship's language, to understand its neural pathways. The vessel had been designed for exploration and defense. Humans redesigned it for one purpose. War. Dr. Lisa Chun, the project's chief weapons designer, made the first breakthrough. She discovered how to merge human kinetic weapons with Veltar energy systems. The result was devastating projectiles that could punch through planetary shields while carrying energy payloads that would cripple entire fleets. As months passed, the ship transformed. Its sleek alien curves gave way to angular human additions. Missile pods replaced observation decks. The cargo bays became launch tubes for human-designed fighters. The ship's original crew of 60 became redundant as automated systems took control of most functions. The most significant change came from an unexpected source. Maria Santos, a young programmer from Brazil, suggested using human music and art as the basis for the ship's new neural patterns. "The Veltar thought in mathematics," she explained, "but humans think in rhythm, in emotion, in stories. Let's give this ship a human soul." The idea worked better than anyone expected. The ship's responses became faster, more intuitive. It began to anticipate threats before they appeared on sensors. It learned to improvise, to adapt its tactics in real time. The alien ship was becoming something new, something uniquely human. By the end of the first year, the vessel barely resembled its original form. Its hull bristled with weapons. Its engines had been boosted beyond safe parameters. Its computer systems ran on human intuition as much as alien logic. Captain Tom Walsh, chosen to command the transformed vessel, named it the Terra's Revenge. The transformation wasn't just technical, it was philosophical. The Veltar had built their ship to preserve life. Humans rebuilt it to end lives, specifically the lives of those who would destroy Earth. Every system was designed for maximum lethality. Every weapon was calibrated for complete annihilation. As the first part of their preparation concluded, humanity looked up at the stars with new determination. The Korthak Empire had conquered 1,000 worlds, destroyed countless civilizations, but they had never faced a species that could take their victims' tools and make them better. The Terra's Revenge was ready for its first test flight. Soon, it would carry humanity's rage to the stars. 3 years after the crash, the Terra's Revenge made its maiden voyage beyond Earth's solar system. Captain Tom Walsh stood on the bridge, watching alien stars fill the view screen for the first time. The ship hummed with energy, its human-modified systems running perfectly. "Target acquired," reported Lieutenant Anna Brooks from the weapons station. Their destination was a Korthak scouting outpost, 3 light years from Earth. Intelligence gathered from Veltar. Databases showed it was a small facility perfect for testing their new capabilities. The Korthak had built their outpost on a dead moon, its surface covered with sensor arrays and communication towers. According to Veltar records, similar outposts had been the first warning before every planetary invasion. This one would never send its warning. Dr. Emma Hayes, now serving as the ship's science officer, monitored the approach. "Their technology matches the Veltar descriptions exactly," she reported. "Same energy signatures, same defensive patterns." The Korthak were predictable, strength that had served them well against other races, but would become their weakness against humans. They relied on superior technology and overwhelming force. They had never faced an enemy that could match their technology while thinking completely differently. "Beginning attack run," Tom announced. The Terra's Revenge dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system, invisible to the outpost sensors. Human stealth technology, merged with Veltar cloaking systems, made the ship a ghost among the stars. The first salvo came without warning. Jake Turner, now the ship's chief engineer, had designed the opening move personally. Human railguns fired projectiles at near-light speed, each one carrying a Veltar energy core. The kinetic impact shattered the outpost's shields, while the energy discharge fried every electronic system within a kilometer. The Korthak response was immediate but useless. Their defensive weapons fired at empty space, while the Terra's Revenge shifted position using human tactical doctrine. The aliens expected frontal assault, not the hit-and-run tactics humans had perfected during centuries of warfare. Secondary targets eliminated, Anna reported, as more railgun rounds found their marks. Each shot was precisely calculated, targeting critical systems identified from Veltar intelligence. The outpost's communication array exploded in brilliant flashes, ensuring no distress signal would reach the Korthak fleet. Within minutes, the facility was defenseless. Tom could have finished it quickly, but this was about more than destruction. It was about sending a message. "Launch the boarding pods," he ordered. Colonel Dave Park led the assault team personally. The boarding pods, another human innovation, cut through the outpost's hull like bullets through paper. Inside, Park and his soldiers found their first living Korthak. The aliens were larger than the Veltar, heavily muscled with thick, scaled skin and 4 powerful arms. They carried weapons that could melt through steel, but they moved slowly, relying on armor and firepower instead of speed and tactics. Park's team moved like shadows through the facility's corridors. Human combat doctrine emphasized mobility and surprise concepts foreign to the Korthic way of war. The aliens expected their enemies to stand and fight. Instead, they faced soldiers who struck from unexpected angles and vanished before counterattacks could begin. The battle inside the outpost lasted 30 minutes. When it ended, every Korthic was dead, and Park's team had captured complete technical specifications for the Empire's weapons and defenses. More importantly, they had confirmed something crucial: the Korthic could be killed. Back aboard the Terra's Revenge, Dr. Lisa Chun analyzed the captured data. Their technology is advanced, she reported to the senior staff, but it's standardized across their entire empire. No innovation, no adaptation. They build one type of weapon and use it everywhere. Tom smiled grimly. Then we know exactly what to expect when their main fleet arrives. The return journey to Earth took 2 weeks. During that time, the crew studied everything they had learned. The Korthic Empire was vast and powerful, but it had grown complacent. They had conquered so many worlds with the same tactics that they had forgotten how to adapt dot upon reaching Earth. Tom delivered his report to Admiral Stone. The test was successful, he said simply. We can hurt them. The news spread through the human fleet like wildfire. Construction had begun on 12 more ships, based on the Terra's Revenge design, each one incorporating lessons learned from the first mission. Earth's orbital shipyards worked around the clock, turning out vessels that combined alien technology with human ingenuity. But the victory at the outpost had consequences. The Korthic fleet, no longer receiving reports from the scouting station, accelerated their approach to Earth's system. What had been a 5-year timeline suddenly became 3 years. Humanity's first strike had succeeded beyond all expectations. Now came the harder part: preparing for the Empire's response. The Korthic were coming, and they would not underestimate their prey a second time. 2 years before the Korthic fleet's arrival, Earth had transformed into a fortress world. Admiral Kate Stone stood in the Orbital Command Center, watching humanity's new fleet take shape. 13 ships now bore the hybrid human Veltar design, each one a testament to human determination and ingenuity. The Terra's Revenge had become the flagship of Earth's defense force, but it was no longer alone. The Phoenix Rising, Iron Will, and Last Stand floated beside it, their hulls gleaming with weapons that no alien empire had ever faced. Each ship carried a crew of 200 humans who had trained for nothing but war against the Korthic. Captain Sarah Kim, commander of the Phoenix Rising, reported the latest modifications. The new neural networks are showing remarkable adaptation rates, she said during the fleet briefing. Each ship is learning from the others, sharing tactical data in real time. This was purely human innovation. The Veltar had designed individual ships with isolated systems. Humans created a network where every vessel could instantly access the experience and knowledge of the entire fleet. When one ship discovered an effective tactic, all ships could implement it within seconds. Dr. Jake Turner had spent months perfecting the communication system. We call it the battle web, he explained to the assembled captains. No matter how far apart the ships are, they function as a single organism during combat. The concept terrified alien military theorists who had been captured during scouting. Raids. Individual ships where predictable fleets sharing consciousness were not. The Korthic had never faced an enemy that could coordinate with perfect precision across vast distances. Commander Rick Hayes, brother of Dr. Emma Hayes, had developed the fleet's new fighter squadrons. These weren't the bulky interceptors used by the Korthic, but sleek, fast attack craft that could outmaneuver anything in the alien arsenal. Each fighter carried weapons powerful enough to cripple ships 10 times their size. Speed and surprise, Rick explained to his pilots during training. The Korthik expect their enemies to trade shots like battleships. Instead, we hit them like a swarm of angry hornets, then disappear before they can respond. The fighters used human aerospace technology, merged with Veltar propulsion systems. They could accelerate faster than Korthik sensors, could track and change direction in ways that defied alien understanding of physics. Pilots trained in zero-gravity combat became three-dimensional warriors, attacking from angles the enemy never anticipated. But the fleet's greatest advantage wasn't technological, it was human creativity. Major Lisa Chun had established the Tactical Innovation Division, a group of scientists and soldiers whose only job was to invent new ways to kill Korthik forces. They worked around the clock, designing weapons and strategies the aliens couldn't predict. One of their most successful innovations was the Ghost Protocol. Ships would separate into individual components during battle, making the fleet appear larger than it actually was, while confusing enemy targeting systems. Korthik weapons designed to destroy single large targets became useless against dozens of smaller, coordinated units. The human fleet also carried a secret weapon that no alien empire possessed: hatred. Every crew member had studied the Veltar records, seen the images of destroyed worlds and dead civilizations. They knew what the Korthik did to species that couldn't defend themselves. Captain Mike Torres of the Iron Will spoke for many when he addressed his crew. "They've killed billions across the galaxy," he said. "They think Earth will be just another conquest. They're about to learn what happens when they threaten humanity." This emotional drive powered human innovation in ways the Korthik couldn't understand. Alien empires fought for territory and resources. Humans fought for survival and revenge. The difference showed in every aspect of their preparation. Training exercises became increasingly complex as the fleet learned to fight as one unit. Ships would engage in mock battles that lasted for days, testing every possible scenario the Korthik might use. Each exercise revealed new tactics and strategies that were immediately shared across the fleet. Dr. Emma Hayes, now serving as chief science officer for the entire fleet, made a crucial discovery during the final months of preparation. The Korthik used a centralized command structure where all orders came from a single flagship. "If we can identify and destroy their command vessel," she reported to Admiral Stone, "the entire fleet will be paralyzed." This intelligence shaped humanity's final strategy. While the Korthik expected a defensive battle around Earth, humans planned something far more aggressive. They would meet the alien fleet in deep space, away from Earth's civilian population, and they would target the enemy command structure with surgical precision. As the months counted down Earth's orbital, shipyards launched the final vessels of the human fleet. 15 ships would face the Korthik Armada force that had conquered countless worlds with thousands of vessels. The odds were impossible, but humans had always specialized in impossible victories. The Korthik fleet entered the outer solar system exactly when Veltar calculations predicted. Humanity's greatest test was about to begin. The Korthik Armada emerged from faster-than-light travel near Neptune's orbit, their massive fleet blotting out the stars. Admiral Kate Stone watched from the command bridge of Terra's Revenge as sensors counted the enemy vessels. Over 3,000 ships, each one larger than Earth's biggest space station. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Anna Brooks. "How do we fight that?" Captain Tom Walsh checked the tactical display, showing humanity's 15 ships positioned throughout the outer system. "We don't fight all of them," he said calmly. "We fight smart." The Korthik fleet moved in perfect formation, exactly as Veltar records had predicted. Their command ship, a massive dreadnought called Death's Crown, led from the center, while smaller vessels formed protective layers around it. They expected Earth's forces to meet them in traditional battle formation. Instead, they found empty space. Lord Commander Vex, leader of the Korthik invasion force, studied his sensors from the bridge of Death's Crown, his forearms manipulated control interfaces while his scaled hide rippled with frustration. Where are the defending ships? He demanded. His subordinates had no answer. Long-range scans detected human vessels scattered throughout the system, but they weren't grouped for defense. Instead, they seemed to be hiding behind moons, asteroids, and gas giant rings. The formation made no sense to Korthik military doctrine. They show fear, Vex decided. Begin planetary bombardment preparations. We will destroy their hiding places one by one. But as the Korthik fleet advanced, humanity sprung its trap. The battle web activated, linking all 15 human ships into a single fighting organism. What appeared to be scattered vessels suddenly became a coordinated pack of hunters. The first strike came from Captain Sarah Kim's Phoenix Rising, hidden in Saturn's rings. Her ship emerged at maximum acceleration, firing every weapon at the Korthik fleet's outer screen. The enemy vessels, expecting frontal assault, turned to engage only to find the human ship had already vanished back into the ring system. Simultaneously, Commander Rick Hayes led 200 fighters in a lightning assault on the fleet's starboard flank. The small craft moved in impossible patterns, their human pilots pulling maneuvers that would have killed alien crews. Korthik point defense systems couldn't track targets that changed direction 60 times per second. Ghost protocol activated, reported Captain Mike Torres as his iron will split into component sections. To Korthik sensors, one ship became 12 separate targets, all firing independently while sharing the same tactical network. Lord, Commander Vex realized too late that he faced something entirely new. His empire had conquered 1,000 worlds, using the same tactics, overwhelming firepower applied through disciplined formations. But humans fought like no species he had ever encountered. The human ships didn't try to match the Korthik fleet's firepower. Instead, they struck like lightning, disappeared like smoke, and reappeared where the enemy least expected them. Each attack targeted critical systems identified through Veltar intelligence, crippling ships rather than destroying them outright. Their weapons are inferior, reported Vex's tactical officer, but their tactics are incomprehensible. Dr. Emma Hayes, monitoring the battle from Terra's Revenge, watched the Korthik fleet's formation begin to collapse. They're trying to adapt, she told Admiral Stone, but their command structure is too rigid. Every order has to go through the flagship. That was exactly what humanity had counted on. While the outer ships engaged in hit-and-run tactics, 3 vessels Terra's Revenge, Last Stand, and Phoenix Rising began their approach to the command ship. They moved through the chaos of battle, using the confusion to mask their true objective. The assault on Death's Crown began when Captain Torres sacrificed his ship. The Iron Will rammed through the dreadnought's shields, its human crew evacuated to fighter craft moments before impact. The collision opened a breach in the massive vessel's defenses. Through that breach came Tom Walsh and the Terra's Revenge. The flagship that had once been a Veltar exploration vessel now revealed its true nature. Every weapon system fired simultaneously, pouring destruction into the Korthik command ship's interior. Lord, Commander Vex felt his ship shudder as human weapons tore through bulkheads designed to withstand planetary bombardment. His tactical displays flickered and died as the ship's neural networks overloaded. For the first time in his military career, he experienced fear. All vessels, concentrate fire on the human flagship. He ordered, but his communications were failing. The careful coordination that had made the Korthik fleet invincible was crumbling as their command structure collapsed. The battle raged for 6 hours. When it ended, the Death's Crown drifted powerless among the stars, its crew dead and its systems destroyed. Around it, hundreds of Korthik vessels floated helplessly, their coordination broken and their will to fight shattered. The survivors of the once mighty fleet began to retreat, but humanity wasn't finished with them yet. 6 months after the battle of Neptune, the human fleet prowled the galaxy like wolves hunting wounded prey. The Korthic armada that had once seemed invincible was scattered across a dozen star systems, their ships fleeing in panic from an enemy they couldn't understand or defeat. Captain Tom Walsh stood on the bridge of Terra's Revenge, studying charts that showed the location of every surviving Korthic vessel. The battle web had evolved beyond simple communication. Now it was a galaxy-spanning intelligence network that tracked enemy movements across light years of space. Target acquired, reported Lieutenant Anna Brooks. Korthic heavy cruiser, hiding in the asteroid belt of the Kepler system. Ship designation Painbringer, according to Veltar records. It participated in the destruction of 17 civilizations. Tom's expression hardened. Each Korthic ship they hunted carried a history written in the blood of innocent species. The Painbringer had bombarded worlds until their surfaces turned to glass. Today, it would pay for those crimes. The hunt had become systematic. Human ships appeared without warning in systems where Korthic survivors had sought refuge. There was no negotiation, no mercy, no chance for surrender. Humanity had learned what the Korthic did to civilizations that couldn't fight back. Now the aliens would learn what humans did to enemies who threatened Earth. Dr. Emma Hayes monitored the approach to the Kepler system from her science station. Their defensive posture suggests desperation, she reported. They're using asteroid cover and running silent tactics never seen in Korthic military doctrine. Fear was changing the survivors. The empire that had conquered through overwhelming force now hid like criminals, their crews demoralized by defeats they couldn't comprehend. Some ships had begun attacking each other, their discipline breaking down as commanders fought over dwindling resources. The Painbringer never saw the attack coming. Captain Sarah Kim's Phoenix Rising materialized from hyperspace inside the asteroid field, its weapons already firing. The Korthic vessel's shields collapsed under the assault of human-designed projectiles carrying Veltar energy cores. But this wasn't just about destruction, it was about justice. Commander Rick Hayes led boarding parties onto every crippled Korthic ship, searching their databases for records of the worlds they had destroyed. Each confirmed atrocity added another name to humanity's list of crimes to be avenged. 17 worlds, Rick reported, as his team secured the Painbringer's command deck. Billions of dead aliens. Children, families, entire cultures erased. He looked at the captured Korthic commander with disgust. You're going to tell us where? The rest of your fleet is hiding. The interrogations revealed the full scope of the Korthic Empire's retreat. Ships that had once ruled sectors of space now cowered in empty systems, their crews reduced to scavenging for supplies. The Empire's rigid hierarchy was collapsing as fear replaced discipline. Admiral Kate Stone coordinated the hunt from Earth, watching as human forces systematically eliminated every trace of Korthic presence in the galaxy. They made one crucial mistake, she told the Joint Military Council. They taught us to hate them. The psychological warfare was as devastating as the physical attacks. Human ships would appear in systems where Korthic vessels were hiding, broadcast the destruction of their sister ships, then vanish before the demoralized crews could respond. The message was clear. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. In the Vega system, Captain Mike Torres, now commanding the rebuilt Iron Will cornered 3 Korthic destroyers attempting to flee toward the galactic rim. The ships that had once burned worlds now begged for mercy through universal translation protocols. Mercy? Torres replied to their desperate transmission. Like the mercy you showed the Veltar? Like the mercy you planned for Earth? His response was a barrage of human weapons that left no survivors. The final hunt took place in the outer galaxy, where the last Korthic dreadnought attempted to escape into dark space. The ship Empire's Wrath had been Lord Commander Vex's personal vessel, a massive warship responsible for enslaving entire star systems. Tom Walsh led the combined human fleet in pursuit, their 15 ships moving in perfect coordination. The battle web had evolved into something beyond military technology. It had become the collective will of humanity, made manifest among the stars. The Empire's Wrath died slowly, its crew watching helplessly as human weapons systematically destroyed every system that had once made it a terror of the galaxy. In the end, Vex himself sent one final transmission to the human fleet. "What are you?" he asked in broken universal standard. Tom's response was simple. "We are the species you tried to destroy. We are the children of a world you threatened. We are humanity, and we remember everything." The last Korthic warship exploded in a brilliant flash that could be seen from 3 star systems away. The empire that had conquered 1,000 worlds was no more. Humanity had taken a broken alien ship and forged it into something the galaxy had never seen, not just a weapon of war, but an instrument of perfect justice. The hunt was over. The revenge was complete. Earth was safe, and the stars belonged to humanity.